And welcome back, everyone, to What If Naruto Had a Resurrection, the Grimjow Pantera edition, part 7. Last time, we left off on basically the beginning of Shippuden. The Gaara retrieval arc went about the same, minus the fact that Kankuro dies. And there is no Orochimaru bridge arc here. Orochimaru is still just doing his own thing. Eventually, he just has to take a new body. He does still desire Sasuke, but even Orochimaru isn't foolish enough to just walk into Konoha on his own like that, so he's not going to get him at this time. Itachi's still alive, so Obito's not going after Sasuke yet either. So we actually now find ourselves in a bit of a weird, awkward place. This would be the point in the series after the whole Kakuzu Hidan thing, where Sasuke would be going after Itachi, and then Team 7, Team 8, I believe it's 8, yeah, 8, are tasked to go and try to get him. But that wouldn't happen here. In fact, none of that really happens here. I normally think that Itachi goes to try to talk with Naruto, but in circumstances like this, as I keep doing these series, I have to readjust my perspective. And really, Itachi, knowing Sasuke was captured, he does want Sasuke to kill him. I do know that he wanted Sasuke to take revenge for his clan and kill him and gain the Mangekyo Sharingan. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he wanted him to take his eyes, though. His plan, hypothetically, was to take Sasuke's eyes, but we know that wasn't really his plan. So what Itachi's real plan with Sasuke in the end is a little up for debate. We know the basics. We know he wanted him to take a revenge on him. It would awaken his own Mangekyo. But we don't know if the plan was for him to give his eyes to Sasuke or not. At least I don't know if we know or not. Regardless, we have to ask the question, what's Itachi's plan anyway with Sasuke in prison? Because it has to change now. Sasuke is captured. He's probably going to be there for years. He's not getting out of the village. And Itachi, I think they said at best that he had a couple weeks to a couple months left. He was just dying. So what's the likely outcome here? Now, I in the past have had him contact Naruto through the usage of a cloak, genjutsu, whatever you want to call it, to have a meeting and explain what's actually going down, what's happening. And then I've had him instill the Koto Katsukame into Naruto that way. But if he has Shutsui's eyes, Shisui's eyes, not Shunsui, a very different character. Similar pronunciation of the name, though, a very different character. If he has Shisui's eye, we have to ask the question, he could just destroy the eye, or ask the question, we have to bring up the idea that he could just destroy the eye and make sure that neither Obito nor Kabuto, basically no one gets a hold of that eye. However, he could still put a command in that eye that would activate that he could activate remotely. It's still a very valuable tool that he could still use. And so, would he still, A, try to contact Naruto, and B, would he still try and maybe even give up his eyes because he doesn't want Obito or anyone to have his eyes? And then just go off and kind of die and give all the intel. I've had to rack my brains on this for a little bit. I think you would at minimum get this. I think Itachi isn't going to just surrender himself to Konoha. He's not going to do that. But he does get in contact with Naruto. Like a crow follows Naruto at night and says, huh? It's like, and then Naruto, I would like to talk to you. It's like, why? Why me? Come to this location this time. It's like, why me? Because you're the one individual my brother cared about, possibly as much as I did. Or because you care about my brother possibly as much as I do, maybe even more. You think I'm going to believe that? If you really feel uncomfortable, you can bring whoever you need to. And so Naruto tells them, Itachi just came up to me and did this. He just gave me a message. Like, you believe him? No, but he said I could bring as many people as I need to. All right, Team 7 plus Team 8. Really? All of them? It's Itachi. We're not taking any chances. And so they meet at the location. I do think, though, Kasame's not there because Itachi has a plan, has something he needs to do here. It's like, Naruto, it's good to see you're looking well. And Kakashi, as well as, forgive me, forgive me, I'm not quite as, I'm not quite as familiar with your Team 8, is it? Because Kurenai isn't here. Remember, Kurenai, I believe, Kurenai's on maternity leave. She has not given birth yet to her daughter yet. So it was, but they're all tuning anyway, so it doesn't matter. They don't need Kurenai to be there. What you want to talk? Very well, Naruto. My time is running short. When I heard that Sasuke had left for Orochimaru's, I knew a plan had to be put into motion. My brother could not follow the darkness. Our clan could not end with two rogue Uchiha, as well as a slayer of the clan. So I devised that strategy to help bring Sasuke home if need be, and to strengthen him, to help give him the closure he needed. And he further goes on to explain how, no, I have several things to tell you. There's no rush. He explains how I've been a double agent the whole time. I was ordered by, I can never remember. It was not. I don't believe it was Hiruzen. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I believe it was more Danzo, and he used Obito as well, who wanted the death of the Uchiha clan. Hiruzen was trying to broker peace between them, if I remember correctly, whereas those two, no. It was not the third Hokage's fault, no. But my clan was going to commit a coup d'etat unless I killed the Destruct first. They would kill innocents. And there would have been hundreds dead. I could not let that happen. And so Naruto's listening. Everyone's listening. If what you're saying is true, then come into the village. Bring yourself back. You should bring yourself back and explain it to the Hokage. And Itachi says, I can tell you two things, Kakashi. One, everything I say is true. Whether you believe it or not is your own choice. But two, do you really think, after everything I've done, my reputation, and the bounty in the bingo book on me, that they would let me, they would just let me casually walk back into Konoha and just say, here, it's all good. That's not his words, but yeah. Kakashi's like, I suppose it's a good enough point. But there's more. Naruto, you need to know. You need to know exactly what happened and why I did. And he explains his reasoning for it. And Naruto's like, why should I believe you? Because truth be told, you probably have acted more like a brother to him than I ever could, even before the coup. Which is interesting. I mean, when you think about it, we know Itachi loves Sasuke, but to some degree, Naruto is a little bit more of a brother figure than, more like a sibling rivalry kind of thing, more like closer to age kind of twin scenario than Itachi is. But again, that's just because Itachi's the older brother. He's more aloof, all that. Either way, though, Naruto is just like, so what do you want from us? I want you to take this information. And he gives him as much information on the Akatsuki as possible, including the fake Madara. Now, is Zetsu watching them? And therefore, by omission, is Obito watching? And, being like, oh no. I think Itachi, because we know the whole Itachi thing was kind of, and Sasuke arrangement was set up. And so sets by several figures, including Obito, all that. So he knows Zetsu was told to keep an eye on him. But Zetsu's not constantly keeping an eye on every single member of the Akatsuki at every single moment. Even though Zetsu can split himself, he's not doing that. Now, mind you, he might be keeping his eye on Itachi more so than anyone else, because once Itachi's gone, yes, he would want to get his hands. He would use that opportunity probably to take Sasuke in and then manipulate him. So maybe Zetsu's watching and Zetsu's like, oh no, you gotta tell Obito now. And Obito hears what's going on. It's like, and shows up as Itachi is explaining the who Obito is, all that, or at least who he thinks he is. Doesn't actually know he's Obito. Itachi, that's Itachi. And then he just woke up. You really, Really now, betraying the Akatsuki like this, of all things. I should have known better. How will Kasame feel after this? Kasame's already aware of my condition. I'll be dead long before he ever tries anything. He ever gets angry. Which, I mean, yeah, it would be fair. I mean, yeah, he could probably just hide away from Kasame. Kasame even said, he probably even told Kasame after this, I'm leaving. Like, I'm just going to spend the rest of my days just trying to go peacefully. But finding out that he'd be betraying him, that would be a very big problem for Kasame, who values intel, trust, secrecy, all that. That's one of the reasons he killed his squad, because they were going to give info away if they got caught. Or at least he thought he did, so he didn't take the chance. But Obito's looking on, and everyone's ready. Don't worry, I'm not here for you. And Naruto, it's good to see you. So, good to see you. Don't worry, I'm not here for you yet. Now, you might ask the question, someone might ask the question, why doesn't Obito try to take Naruto here? Well, why didn't he try to take him during the Sasuke retrieval arc? He could have done it. He could have done it easy. The whole issue of him taking Naruto early doesn't work as a concept. I've heard people theorize that he would slap chakra cuffs on Naruto and keep him in the Kamui dimension. There is no evidence to suggest, as far as I know, that that was the plan, because he didn't. If that were the case, Obito literally had the power to just take Naruto anytime he wanted. Anytime he had seen Naruto. Again, perfect example, the Sasuke retrieval arc. Or I guess it's the Sasuke versus Itachi arc, whatever. I never actually remember the full name of the actual name of the arc. But basically, when he's just dicking around with them, he could have easily taken Naruto. At any point in time, he could have done it. Yes, he has to be able to touch Naruto, sure, but because they just couldn't gauge his abilities, yeah, he could have done it. I don't think it would have been all that hard for him to do, especially because he's good at taijutsu. No one understood how his version of Kamui worked, or Kamui worked, so yeah, he could have done it. He also could have taken Naruto in the Land of Iron, too, but he didn't. Now, to be fair, Kakashi and Yamato showed up, but if you really read that scene, he was first off, he clearly had been watching Naruto for a little bit, not like hours and hours, but a few minutes. If he wanted to take, before Kakashi and Yamato showed up, he also said he was only there to talk. If he wanted Naruto at that point, why was he only there to talk? Like, the whole idea of him taking Naruto early just makes no sense. It just doesn't make sense based on the other evidence we see down the line of every opportunity he actually had to take Naruto. So, and we know the Nine Tails has to be sealed last. That's the other problem. So, yeah, it's clear that he couldn't have just taken Naruto because he wouldn't have known how long he would have to wait to get the other tail beasts. I think that's part of it. Mind you, in theory, he could have just kept bringing food into the Kamui dimension, and Naruto, would have just been like, hey, give me Fagame, and starting eating food, and just kept him in there until time was right. But having someone else in the Kamui dimension, as we saw, runs the risk of him actually getting hit by an attack whenever he does go intangible. In fact, having Naruto there in the Kamui dimension is actually a big hindrance. Even if he were to somehow slap chakra cuffs on him, he could still literally just, the minute Obito goes intangible, just boom, land a shot. He'd still theoretically have, probably would have taken the weapons off, but he could still hit him. He could still punch him hard. Like, he could still actually hurt him, in theory. So, just to get out of the way, he wouldn't be taking Naruto here early. However, he would be like, Itachi, unfortunately, I can't let you do much more. You were planning to give up your eyes, weren't you? And Itachi probably already took out one eye and gave it to Naruto. Unfortunately, that's something I'm going to be needing for the future. And he just disappears. And Itachi's like, no, and tries to go for his other eye. But and everyone's kind of like on edge, ready to attack, and Obito just disappears. All of a sudden reappears. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Sorry, Itachi. And he just plucks Itachi into Kamui dimension, but you're coming with me. And so, yeah, it's another question a lot of people have asked the question. Can you still use Susanoo with one eye if you want, if it uses both Sharingan eyes? Like, if after you've unlocked it, can you still use it? I have to believe the answer is no. As far as I know in Boruto, as far as I know, Sasuke lost his eye. couldn't use Susanoo anymore. Madara, when he got resurrected, was missing both of his eyes. And as far as if I remember that fight, while he still was able to use Sage Mode, all that, he was still dangerous. Can you use, I'm just going to look it up right now because it is, the question is bugging me, honestly. Can you use Susanoo? Can you use Susanoo with one Mangekyo Sharingan? Let's see. So yeah, no, it does appear to be that you cannot use a Susanoo with only one eye. So yeah, that means Itachi's actually without one of his biggest weapons. And also, I can't remember which eye. I think it's the right eye that does Amaterasu, I think. Which of Itachi's eyes does what? For this, I'm not changing it, but for this image or visual, I'm just doing the left eye. He gave him Naruto's left eye. Which eye does Itachi use to perform Amaterasu? He uses his right eye. Okay, so in this scenario, he still has Amaterasu. All right. And Obito would know this, but unfortunately now Obito is in a precarious situation because he's now in his Kamui realm, and Zetsu probably hightails that there as well. It's like, and they're just wondering what happened. I don't know. It was the same sort of space-time jutsu. As far as we know, we're not seeing them again. You heard what we were told. We need to get back to the Hokage. We need to get back to the village. So they go. Meanwhile, Itachi is using whatever firing power he can against Obito, who does have fire jutsu too. So they're clashing fire jutsu. Obviously, he activates Amaterasu as well. And Obito probably does have to remove his arm or something like that. Maybe, and I think what ultimately happens is he gets injured, removes the arm. Itachi's like, if I'm going to die, you may have one eye, but you don't have both of them, and that's enough. Good question. Also, can you get an Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in just one eye? That's actually a legitimately good question. Can you get one? God damn it. Okay. Can one eye have eternal Mangekyo Sharingan? Okay. Can one eye have okay. Let's see what. So no, it's not possible to have eternal Mangekyo with only one eye. The Mangekyo Sharingan specific powerful evolution. It requires both eyes. Okay, so even if they implanted Itachi's left eye into Sasuke, it would not awaken an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. At least that's the overview I'm getting from Google right now. Can you say you can't awaken a single eternal in Mangekyo. That's the thing. At least as far as I can find here. But the thing is, we've only ever seen it done with two eyes. So it would be kind of interesting and unique to see that. Like Kakashi, for example, can't do that because he's not even a pure-blooded Shia. You just can't give Kakashi an eternal Mangekyo. It's just that's not how it works. And there's a reason that, that's the same reason that Madara didn't just throw his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan or whatever. Probably because he already had one to begin with when he planted Obito's eye in his head. So, among the fact that they weren't as close blood relations as brothers anyway. So, meanwhile, as I was getting to, Amaterasu is littering the Kamui realm. And that also means, think about this for a second, because those flames burn until the thing they're burning is gone. If he's literally spamming the entirety of Amaterasu as best he can, and that's probably would be his go-to move here. First off, Obito probably has to use Izanagi to get out of the situation. So he sacrifices an eye, he then grabs and kills it. Basically, he takes Itachi's life, and Itachi just laughs. What are you laughing? I'm going to keep that eye for Sasuke when I take him later. Even if you get your hands on Sasuke, it'll be meaningless without my other eye. And besides, you really think it'll be that easy? And Obito's probably like put his hand through Itachi's chest as Itachi's saying, what are you talking about? I would look around at your beloved kingdom here. My Amaterasu is burning quite brightly. To which, and what's your point? And then he realizes, like, everything is lighting up in there, and it's got nowhere to go. Amaterasu doesn't burn through oxygen or anything. It's a ethereal black flame that just burns like hellfire. He can't go back. He's realizing the fire's creeping up, so he goes back into the real world with Itachi's body, and Itachi's laughing. He realizes what Itachi means. I can't use my Kamui because my entire realm, because it's kind of an infinite dimension, more or less, the Kamui world. In fact, hold on. I'm going to see if I can find a picture, at least for myself, just so I can gauge it. Now, there's any, like, gaps in the Kamui world. It could work. Kamui dimension. Naruto. Let's see. I want to get a gate. Yeah. So here's the problem. I'm actually, you know what? I'm actually going to, I want to actually get a picture of here because it is very, very key for this scenario here. This is important. I didn't think about this until just now, but it's important to get a visual aid for this. Let's see here now. By the way, we're ending this, I'm going to say, at the Land of Iron before we go into the Fourth Great Shinobi War. So we're going a little long in this one, but Kamui. Yeah, that's not how you spell Kamui. That's how you spell Kamui. Hold on. I need to get a picture of a reference here because I think it's important. All right. And where are you? Where are you? Where did you go? There we go. Kamui dimension. Okay. This is the Kamui dimension. It's the inky blackness there. Now, it does look like there's some cutoffs here, but I think that's just because we can't see past a certain part of the point in the void. But when you have enough flames, that whole thing is going to be on fire. Yeah, there's some minor gaps here a little bit, so they're not all completely separate, like connected. But if you had a big enough flame, those flames would catch. This whole place is lit to a blaze, which means he can't risk going in there, because if it is basically an infinite void, he can't go in there. It's going to be perpetually burning for all of time, pretty much. He can even do test drives with a finger, and when he just Kamui's his finger, just all of a sudden, has to chop the finger off, use Hashirama Zetsu cells to regrow it. But he can keep test driving, but honestly, again, maybe this is just my interpretation. There are gaps between some of those square pillars, so maybe I'm wrong in that interpretation. Let me know what you think, but in theory, if the flame just gets big enough, high enough, and dangerous enough, which it's Kamui, and he's just spamming this thing, then that entire dimension is a no-go zone for him for the future. Whereas Kakashi can still use his, which means that moment where Kakashi tries to use it on Obito would be problematic for Obito, but that's kind of irrelevant because he can't use his Sharingan. I didn't even think about this. Again, I might be willing to change this interpretation if enough people kind of give me some reasons why that might not work. But for the argument, up until Sunday, that's the idea I'm going with right now. So Obito is actually glaring daggers at the dead Itachi. He test drives it after getting a new arms, and just just chops his finger off real quick, gets a new finger. Damn you, Itachi. It's kind of do Orochimaru. Curse you, old man! Curse you! But it's more damn you, Itachi. Damn you! And so now Obito is actually not that strong. You take away Obito's Kamui and not have him be six paths yet, or have a Rinnegan or anything, and Obito isn't that... he's a great hand-to-hand fighter, but what else does he have? He's got a Sharingan that works, sure. He's got plenty of Sharingan to replace it with, including Itachi's, which... honestly, at this point, probably just implant that fucker in your head. At least you get Tsukuyomi. And because of the Hashirama cells, the white Zetsu cells in there, he doesn't suffer the same issue that a normal Mangekyo would. So he does at least have Tsukuyomi, which now makes him arguably just as dangerous, because he can just drop someone with Tsukuyomi if he needs to. Not to say he would spam it, he's still got chakra limitations, but still dangerous as hell. And now he's just like, we're going to have to adjust our plans a bit, Zetsu. So now, even if you wanted to get Sasuke, can't risk it. I would say this: if he's going to try to do it, he needs to do it more sneakily, and I don't think he wants to risk it right now. So anyway, Team 7 and 8 get back to the village. They explain everything that Itachi told them. And which, by the way, this would be another reason that Obito probably didn't want to mess with Itachi, because even a sick Itachi could theoretically have wrecked his shit. But anyway, they explain it, and they explain how they do have one Mangekyo Eye. He has Amaterasu. I was talking about Tsukiyomi. He has Amaterasu. Though, to be fair, he might not have Amaterasu, because I could see Itachi also taking out his eye in the last moment, so maybe he didn't get Itachi's eye here. In fact, that's actually a very likely scenario Itachi would have done. It's like, if I can't get my eye to my brother, then nope. So, yeah, we do have Itachi's eye. The question, he wanted us to give both to Sasuke when the time was right. Sasuke, he does know Sasuke is incarcerated. Yes, no, he understood. But he said there would be a point he'd need it. But he only was able to give us one before that masked guy from the Akatsuki showed up. Yes. And then obviously they get the news. They put in there, we'll keep it available in case. There might be a way to replicate the eye or something like that. But until then, we cannot afford to. Sasuke is still a no-go. He's been behaving. So his sentence is not being. It won't be extended for the time being. But and as they're going on, obviously they say Lord Jiraiya is dead. So now, first off, how does Obito, without the use of Kamui, manage to actually communicate? He's probably using Zetsu as like his gopher right now. They probably get to whatever hideout they need to get to, or that he got to. But yeah, obviously Naruto hears this and he's just floored by it and just goes and he sulks and he mourns. Obviously, then they get the real ones their message. Naruto would still go to train with Sage Mode, I believe. I still fully believe that. But as someone kind of pointed out, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense for Naruto to learn Winjutsu, so I'm just going to say he's just developed his Rasengans better. I didn't even think of Rasengan Bala, but Rasen Bala? Rasen Bala's not bad. Basically swirling bullet, more or less. Yeah, Rasengan Bala is actually a pretty cool idea where you could just shoot it. Because he always got a ranged Sero anyway, and a ranged Rasengan through the Sero. But he trains with Sage Mode, gets it down. Although I think it takes him a little bit longer, simply because he doesn't have the same temperament he does in the original. He's still a little uneasy. But then obviously the Invasion of Pain happens. Now, obviously Naruto is late to the Invasion of Pain to the point where the things get destroyed. But there's Sasuke here. Now, Sasuke is relatively... He's not much... What's the best way to put it? His chakra reserves probably aren't depleted. They've just been suppressed. Like, he keeps working out, so at minimum, his chakra reserves wouldn't have decreased. They just haven't really had a chance to grow much, although they do partially grow with physical training as well. So, Sasuke, who at least has been keeping in shape and maybe even getting pretty ripped in his cell, might actually have slightly larger reserves here than he did in the original. Maybe not by much, but enough. Simply due to the fact that he's been able to train his body, increase his chakra reserves. They've just been suppressed. He can't utilize it. But when the Invasion of Pain comes, and remember, a giant chunk, maybe not all, I don't think it was all of Konoha. I think like the outskirts are fine. But a lot was destroyed. And that would probably include the prison that Sasuke is currently being confined in. However, given the fact that they were under attack and the pains were so powerful, and Sasuke's like, what's going on? And, the Anbu that are like the two guards that look over Sasuke, you're not to leave here. And then Sakura shows up. No, we need Sasuke. And she has the eye. We need Sasuke. Now, we are under attack. And I don't think even Lady Hokage is going to be able to handle this. You need to go and protect civilians now. He is the least of our arguments. If he escapes, so be it, if it means our village lives. Like Sakura. Now, maybe it's not Sakura does this, admittedly. But it'd be someone who at least knows Sasuke, but has enough clout to be like, look, I'm looking at the odds right now, and they're not effing good. And so, and I could even see this. Tsunade looks at this, looks at the structure, looks at everything, and she weighs the options. Like, and she looks at the eye. I don't know if it's going to do anything, but we need all hands on deck for this. Go get him now. And all of a sudden, Sasuke's like, "What the hell's going on?" And it's like, "We're being attacked by the leader of the Akatsuki. An individual knows pain." Now, now here's a good question. Did Itachi know Pain's real secret? That it was Nagato and the real one wasn't there? As far as I know, he didn't. So, but Jiraiya figured it out. Either way, Itachi is analytical enough that if he wanted to have figured it out, he probably could have. But I doubt he knew. Anyway, I digress. Well, then again, he did. We don't see their interaction as Edo's when they met. We just know he was dragging him along. I don't remember the dialogue in that scene if he had recognized them or not. Maybe he did, or maybe it was just like, "Yeah, I'm Pain. I was the guy behind Pain." Either way. So Tsunade just looks at it. And to be fair, we know that this actually doesn't, this kind of transplant for a skilled medic. Like, Rin was able to do it to Kakashi. That's how good of a medic Rin was. And Rin wasn't even anywhere near Tsunade level. So, and we also saw granted, Naruto got 6 past chakra when he did this, but he restored Kakashi's eye. So, and that's no small freaking feat. You literally restored an entire organ from nothing. Circulatory system, nervous system, and all. So I imagine for someone of Tsunade's skill, if Sasuke's agreeing to this, and to be fair, Sasuke probably also heard the fact that Itachi was dead, so he probably was mourning in his cell. So maybe that process triggered a Mangekyo in him. It's possible that could have happened, but more to the point is that she looks at Sasuke, looks at the eye. "I'm doing this. I don't know if it's going to give you a boost or not. I don't even know if we can trust you still, Sasuke. But right now, it's all hands on deck. But I'll give you the." And she probably does this. She undoes the chakra cuffs, does this. This is going to hurt. And then it plants the eye. Now, whether or not he's got the Eternal, we'll deal with that in just a second. But she says, "If we find you leave the village again after this, Naruto will not be able to save you this time. No one will. That's your warning." And so basically, and Sasuke's just like, now, because Obito's not there to tell him what really happened, Sasuke is like, no, you don't have to worry about it. Itachi's dead. He's like, "My brother's dead, and he left this to me. I'm going to do what I got to do." Now, again, we don't have enough evidence to suggest enough eternal Mangekyo. If just one got implanted in your eye, if you would only gain one eternal Mangekyo or not. For the sake of fun, let's just say you can. You know what? I'm going to say it. For the sake of fun, you can. You can get one eternal if you implant one eye. You probably can't, but look, there's not enough evidence to say it one way or the other. We've only ever had 2 instances of 2 eternal Mangekyos in the entire series. So we just don't have a firm answer on that. We don't. But so Sasuke has a eternal in his left eye, which would be the Tsukuyomi eye, which also, it did occur to me. Do you also get the abilities of the user whose eyes you took? We know Sasuke had Amaterasu, but that was not from Itachi's eye being implanted in him. That was more he implanted Amaterasu in Sasuke's eyes. And he did have Amaterasu from there. I never even considered, because he did try to put B into a Genji, but he never once tried to use Tsukuyomi. And he never, his Susanoo is different too. So, I don't know. I don't think you can. It's never been because we have the example with Itachi and Sasuke for this. I don't think you can, but it'd be an interesting concept, but no. But this means that, could Sasuke have a perfect Susanoo? We do know that means he won't go blind in this eye. He would still go blind in this eye, but not this side. But could he have an eternal Mangekyo a perfect Susanoo? He could maybe hit the edges of it would be so taxing on his body that it would be a last resort, versus when he gets his eternal Mangekyo, it's a perfect Susanoo, and he can kind of spam it a little bit because his chakra reserves just got nuts. But A, he does not have the chakra reserves here, and B, I think it would just be taxing as hell. He could still do a Susanoo, and I could even say this, his normal Susanoo would not be as taxing on him. But mind you, his chakra levels are better here, thanks to all the working out he did, but still not to what they should have been. And he does still have access to a curse mark, however. But Sasuke just said, like, look, my brother's gone. Look, you told me my brother's gone. The reason I left was for power, to kill him, to avenge my clan. Without that, all I have left is my home, the place where I live. So I'm not going anywhere. And to which they see again, like the giant animal show up. Let's go. And Sakura's probably smiling, like, Sasuke, and just smile. And maybe like Team 7. Oh, I could totally see this happening. Yeah, with Sakura helped take the giant centipede out, but I could see her like doing it with some stone release and then meeting up with Team 7 later on. And so when they fight the Deva and Azurapath, it's almost all of Team 7 reunited. It's like, Kakashi, Hatake, you're dangerous, Sakura. And Sakura does Sasuke does a Chidori, gets blasted back, but then he activates Amaterasu, and Devapath has to, Shinra Tensei it off. I see. So you're Itachi's brother. The traitor really didn't offer us any options, did he? And so, but because there's 3 of them and it's a timing thing, I think they might be able to take down the Devapath. Mind you, it's only some 5-second intervals, but basically, someone's got to run interference. Someone's got to be the decoy, and then the other 2 have to time their attacks right. At minimum, because also Chozo was there too. So even if Sakura's not there, you still got Chozo, Sasuke, and Kakashi. And Kakashi was skilled enough to put the Devapath on the back foot a little bit. I mean, ultimately, there's no way he was going to beat the Devapath in that circumstance. Like, they were both meeting each other blind, more or less. But he considered Kakashi dangerous enough to be like, no, I have to kill you. So, yeah, between them, and having Amaterasu, because we know he did have Amaterasu, Sasuke, and having Kurotsuki, Kajisuki, I can't remember what it is, but basically the ability to manipulate his black flames. That means within a 5-second interval, Sasuke, in theory, could, especially using Susanoo, use his bow and just poof, and hit him. Or use Susanoo, just grab the Devapath and just boom, and just destroy it. But unfortunately, this would leave Kakashi and Sasuke extremely drained. And unfortunately, the Narakapath probably would show up after knowing the Devapath was actually taken down, and come and just revive both the Azurapath and the Devapath after the Animalpath summons them all back. And so those 2 really were something dangerous indeed, weren't they? And then obviously they show back up. And do Tsunadi's there squaring off with them. Everyone else is watching in just horror, abject horror. It's just Shinra Tensei, and just boom. So Naruto would eventually show up on the battlefield with his Sage Mode. He comes in. Initially, just he draws his sword and just starts attacking the Predapath. He just uses his sword to just basically take its head off. He's using Sero, but ultimately he just decides he just releases his Resurrection, because that's something he's probably practiced with, releasing his Resurrection with his Sage Mode as well, and trying to get the balance there. That's more difficult at this point. So he's probably starting out with Sage Mode and saving his Resurrection for later. So I'll backtrack on that real quick. But he's still using basically Sage Art Sero, Sage Art Rasengan. Like he can snipe a bunch of these guys out of the way. And then obviously the Predapath will eventually come in to absorb a chakra attack as Naruto's running low on Sage Mode, because the Predapath would get revived. That admittedly comes a little later. So Naruto runs out of Sage Chakra. He's tired, but then he just goes, grind, Pantera! And just let's dance. And he immediately sees the Predapath is back, and he sees the Narakapath's the thing that brought it back. So he gets ready for first attack. Grande, I cannot remember the name of the attack. Hold on. Grimjow. Gara de la Pantera, which that's the image of what that looks like. He literally just poof, and all of a sudden you're like, there's no shot, and all of a sudden the Narakapath and the Predapath both get like, and then Naruto just comes in and just using his claws, just takes the Prey Path's head off again, and this time just, ballas, like a Rasen ballas the Naraka Path. The Demon Path, though, does eventually, as Naruto comes in, just gets blasted by Shinra Tensei. He's like, my powers have returned. You do not have what it takes to defeat me. He does overwhelm Naruto, puts him down with the Shinra Tensei, even gets the Busho Renin, or Busho Tenin, just, and then just tries to put the chakra rods in him, but his armor's so thick that I don't know if the chakra rods would pierce it naturally. Even though they kind of look like they're made of Keke Mora, they're not, because people can actually interact with these and not be incinerated or disintegrated. And so, his armor's thick. As the tail comes in, whips the Demon Path, who was just not expecting that. It's like, that's Rasen Sao! Shinra Tensei! Blasting back. And so Naruto's like, I gotta try to risk it. I gotta take this guy down. And so he just his claws glow blue. It's like, I'm taking you down. You can try, Nine Tails. My name. And it just swipes it, and poof, there it is. So I can get the name right here. Deskaron. Deskaron. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. And literally, these are just giant energy claws of death. Giant chakra claws, in this case, of death. He just comes in, just, Shinra Tensei, and the claws just actually go toe-to-toe with the Shinra Tensei, because we know you can actually overpower or at least brace against a Shinra Tensei. We know this, so it's possible using both to just clash. And all of a sudden, the Faj's chakra starts to come out. And boom, it explodes it, and then Demon Path goes flying back. And Naruto's, and now the Fox chakra is coming back out. Unfortunately, using this technique, as I explained, kind of really draws the Fox chakra out a little bit. And he just rushes in. Now he's starting to outspeed him, because you're combining the Fox chakra with the Resurrección, which we already know at the Six Tails, he was already starting to overwhelm the Demon Path a bit, and even the Eight Tails could get out of the Chibaku Tensei. So Naruto is starting to just kind of go a little crazy here. And eventually, though, Naruto's Resurrección does tire out. He just has to, and so now it's at that point he puts the chakra rods in him, and they have their speech. And it's like, so what will you do to stop pain? And then obviously that's when Hinata shows up. It's like, Hinata, no! It's like, I'm okay to fight for you. I'm okay to die because I love you. And then she nearly dies. And then he just completely goes ham on him. It ends pretty much the same way, where he would still meet his father. He would tighten the seal back up. And ultimately he would meet his, not his end. Ultimately, Death would be beaten. And so, he would then go on his way to find Nagato. They'd have their discussion, and obviously Nagato would bring everyone back. Naruto makes it to the village. He's tired. Kakashi gets him, and then he sees everyone cheering for him. Sakura's there. Sakura is like, you idiot! And then he looks at Sasuke. You're back. Good to see you out and about. Well, gotta say, it's better. How does it feel? Fresh air feel? Well, I gotta say, it's better than that prison cell. And they both kind of look at each other. Yeah, so you always just wanted to be the big hero. Hey, as far as from what I understand, you don't look like you're doing that bad yourself in that scenario, in that situation. Not situation. That's not the word I'm looking for. In that regard. To which Sasuke laughs like, yeah, I'm not being that big of a hero. And they both kind of smile, and they kind of give each other a fist bump. And so I lied. We will end it here because we're already at the 45-minute or close to the 45-minute marker. So yeah, that's where we're going to end part 7. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Join us on Sunday for the last part, and then we're going to do Naruto having his Zanpakuto on Wednesday. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.